Good morning, everyone. Here we are on June the 30th. It's my daughter's birthday, yay! And I'm going to attempt to do something that's almost impossible. I'm sitting outside and escaping the heat, and I'm going to try to do this and for you to hear me over the traffic. And I might get drowned out every now and then because there's lots of trucks and buses and whatnot. It's not easy living in the city all the time. But So this morning we're reading through more of Jehoshaphat and those who follow Jehoshaphat, but I like to concentrate on Jehoshaphat because he's one of the characters from the Word that I really appreciate, and so we have him returning from the fiasco. In just a second, there's a truck coming. It's a beer truck, so just give it a second. There you go. Okay. So, Jehoshaphat's... Wow, the car makes more noise than the truck. Jehoshaphat's returning from the whole failure that took place in Israel. And he's met by the prophet, and he's told off. What are you doing aligning with those who are enemy of God? And he says, it's in chapter 19, he says, "Nevertheless, there's some good to be found in you, in that you have removed the sacred poles from the land and set your mind to seek God." That's a big thing. That's a whole purpose, seeking God. And we never get to a point where we stop seeking God, because seeking God is meaning to know Him better, to know Him more, to know His ways, so we can know Him, to go deeper with Him. And that never ends. It's a constant growing of relationship. So we have that God is pleased with him. Jehoshaphat does all the reforms. He sends out the teachers. He sets up the judges and all that sort of stuff. And then this thing happens where these armies come together to attack him. And he calls this huge prayer meeting. And everybody comes to seek the Lord at the temple, because that was the instruction. That's what the prayer that went up from Solomon about the temple, that when they were in trouble, they would seek the Lord, that they would turn to the temple. And so we have this here. And then the Lord answers. The Lord answers. I just want to point out who He answers through. He answers through a descendant of Asaph, and Asaph was one of the big worshipers. Wrote lots of songs and arranged music, and he was a big part in what David had set up in the worship through music in the temple. And so he responds to this prayer that Jehoshaphat had, and he gives that encouraging word about the battle isn't theirs, it belongs to the Lord. Don't be afraid or discouraged by this great army. You don't need to fight this battle. Just take your places, stand ready, and watch how the Lord, who is with you, will deliver you, Judah and Jerusalem. Don't be afraid or discouraged. Go out tomorrow, face them. The Lord will be with you. And then the whole assembly bowed down and worshipped. And then it says that these Levites from this line, again from the line of worshipers, stood up to loudly praise the Lord, the God of Israel. They are loudly praising Him before the victory is given. God is a God of promise, and when He gives a word, it's done. It's as good as done. And so they stood up and loudly praised the Lord. I guess they wouldn't be accepted in a number of churches today, because they're disturbers. They're being loud in their worship, and they're being loud, and you can almost hear the instruments playing and the dancing that's taking place and all such things. And so they get up the next morning and they assemble to march out as the Lord had told them to do. And it says, after consulting with the people. So Jehoshaphat consulted with the people. Okay, folks, how should we do this? How do you want to do this? So after consulting with the people, he appointed musicians to play for the Lord, praising His majestic holiness. They were to march out before the warriors, saying, "Give thanks to the Lord because His faithful love lasts forever." And so this is the weirdest army going out with their their worshipers before them, and we're all touched by this. And I've heard it preached on so many times, and I'm probably going to be using it tomorrow in tomorrow's word as we look at seeking the Lord. But people fail to understand. People will come to God and cry out to Him in their trouble, but they don't worship Him for the victory that He has given them before He's given them the victory. The victory is guaranteed. That's what He's promised, and people of faith act on that before receiving it, and that's what Jehoshaphat is doing here. They're celebrating. This is a huge celebration. And it says, as they broke into joyful song and praise, the Lord launched a surprise attack. As they started to worship. As they started to worship. See that? As they started to worship, the Lord took action. It's and they went on and all that they had. Jehoshaphat was already wealthy, and the whole kingdom just became wealthier from this great horde that was defeated by the Lord. And they had celebrations. They entered into a valley that was known as the Valley of Blessing. After that, they gathered to bless the Lord. And they entered Jerusalem accompanied by harps, lutes, and trumpets, and they went to the Lord's temple. More worship. More worship. There comes a bus. Just like it. And they just... From before the beginning to after the end, it was filled with worship. Filled with worship. And it says how everybody around them became fearful of God, and they had peace. At some point, we're going to have to catch on to this whole thing of worship. At some point, it's yeah, we know how to sing songs. A lot of people sing songs to the sky. They sing the songs that don't even think of God. They sing it because of tradition, and others they think of Him. But we have to move into a position of victory because He's given us a victory. That's where we're supposed to be, a position of victory, and we're supposed to celebrate everything before we get it. That's the way it goes, and He deserves our worship all the time. So anyway, you have a fantastic day. We're going into day 2 of our heat wave here. My guy is here to fix the air conditioning, so tomorrow should be a wonderful day at church. And you guys just be blessed today. Stay cool, those who are in this heat wave area, and let's serve the Lord. Because we are significant, let's serve Him well. God bless.